What's up, guys? It's Trip from Maximum Overland, and you see we're back in the shop for another Fab Time video. That's in the background. I told you last weekend on Fab Time for the drop extension that I had a little bit of things to do with this guy right here. It's suspension related. We're gonna do some dual Fox shocks. But anyway, stay tuned. Okay, guys, this is what I got. So I told you long ago that I absolutely love the trailer, but there's some things that I would do a little different. And I think it's more of an engineering standpoint than it is more of a comfort need, necessity, or a downfall of the trailer. Well, what that is, in my opinion, is the aggressive shock that the trailer takes when using the Timbren suspension. And what I mean by that is there's literally no ability to soften the load when it comes to compression and dampening. And so that's the one drawback that I think that the Timbren suspension has. Well, I think I'm going to change that and fix it for myself. What I noticed is I try to take some of the trails, you know, obviously in respect to speed, as easy as I can. But unfortunately, when this thing has, 15 gallons of water and it's loaded down, on some of the washboard roads and stuff like that, you'll notice that it starts to bounce. And a lot of that's because there's no compensation for compression and dampening. And so that's because there's no mechanical parts to the Timbren suspension. So what I've decided to do is this. This is a standard dual shock setup, and I'm going to build this tower. This tower will attach to the frame in a manner that it's rigid going up, and it'll be bolted throughout. And what this will do is it'll attach to the axle that comes out from the Timbren suspension. And what that'll do is when this suspension and trailer comes up off the ground, and this portion of the suspension wants to drop immediately and then compress immediately, it'll slow the drop down, helping to absorb some of the hit, and then obviously it'll slow down the compression of the swing arm coming back up. Because right now there's a slight gap. So when the rubber stretches out, it's all the way extended, and then of course when it gets shoved back up to its normal ride height, it gets compressed into it, and there's nothing slowing that down. So I believe this will fix our issue. Stay tuned. Hey guys, I'm gonna jump in here. This right here is 3/16 plate is what I'm making the base plate out of. And I think you guys will be surprised when you see what I cut it with. But this is what I actually cut it with. And it does remarkably well. If you can see this edge right here, this is the edge I just pulled off. And so I'll show you real quick on the second cut. But I just figured I'd let you guys know how I do that. And you can do it up to about quarter. And I know it definitely does 3/16, it does 5/16. Quarter, you have to go slower, but you can still do it. You just need to make sure that you have a good circular saw, and you're just mindful. Make sure you wear your safety glasses, because again, there's metal shards going anywhere. But anyway, I'll cut this next piece out and I'll show you what it looks like. Pretty simple, guys. nice to have specific metal tools? Yes, but at the same time, you can still achieve a really good work product by other means, and that obviously is a circular saw. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip this over, move this thing, and then cut my neck stand up, and then show you guys how I plan to plate it and reinforce it. Here's the face. So anyway, I'm gonna plate the base and plate the center up and give it some rigidity, and then we'll go from there. Stay tuned. Okay guys, let's see if you guys can kind of pick up what I'm putting down when it comes to my towers. Now this is essentially the same kind of, let me get in the frame so you can see me a little bit anyway. This is exactly the same kind of setup you would build for adding coilovers to your Jeep or to your truck or whatever. And it's just essentially a shock tower. So I'm gonna go ahead and box this in real quick, and then once we get it built, I'll kind of show you what it looks like before we apply it to the truck or to the trailer, and see how it fits before we just go ahead and move forward on that. Okay, here we go. Oh, baby. So, this guy may be a hair long. I think he is. I think we're gonna take the blade width off real quick. I like that, guys. Same kind of thing, we'll get them set up. Throw some tacks on there real quick. Oh, that's beautiful. Yes. Fancy. Okay. So, let's see what we got. I'm gonna go set this up and show you how it works. Okay guys, let's look at it.
Okay, so see, it's kind of hard to tell exactly what's going on, but that's how the shock tower will be set up. And you can see it'll actually not be all the way down on this bracket. It'll be right there along the frame rail. And then what I'll do is I'll run 4 big bolts through the actual frame rail itself. And then up here is where the shocks will mount. And so we'll plate this across the top, and your studs for your shocks will come out right there. And then it'll reach down, and you can see how it looks in there. See? So let's keep going.
All right, good morning, guys. Back to fab time. You can see right behind me, I've got the first shock tower built and up. This is Saturday morning, so I'm kind of fast forwarding. Anyway, let me show you what exactly I'm gonna do, and then moving through that process, we'll get that one built and put on and set up the way we want it. How's that?
Okay. If you look, the Timbren suspension right here, the way it sets up is they welded it, particularly this company welded it directly to the frame, and you can see part of it there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise this plate up to even with the frame rail and use the existing bolt holes through the Timbren suspension to attach partially some of the shock tower. So what I'll do is I'll get it up, pre-drill these holes, get this plate up, mark them from behind, and then drill them, run those bolts in so I can run 2 more. Hopefully what I'm going to do is run 4 bolts across the base of this. I believe that with that much 1/2-inch bolt plus a stress plate in the back, it should be strong enough to support the support of this trailer and the weight of this trailer, and then obviously the wear and tear of 2 shocks. This is a pretty solid piece, and I think it's going to do the job quite well. Anyway, let's get to it.
Okay, guys, now maybe you guys can get a good understanding of what I was talking about. So that's what I was talking about right there, is it's a standard shock tower. And so I think this is going to improve the ride of that Tembren by a lot. I hate to say that I have to do something like this kind of fabrication to make the suspension better, but Tembren definitely lacks a little. And when I say that, I mean specifically in the dampening and compensating for the compression, the immediate compression. That rubber doesn't do its justice. It does well on fire roads, but when you get anything else other than that, it seems to struggle with it. So I think this will help with the compression and the dampening when the bumps start to get faster on like washboard roads and rougher things. So anyway, that's what it looks like. I'm repurposing the Rubicon 2.0 Fox shocks from the original Gladiator suspension, and now it's basically ready for paint and get one on and installed and let you guys see what it looks like. Stay tuned.
Don't forget to always cut your tip. Just to give you guys kind of an understanding what this is. This is 3/16 mild steel. It's probably, this probably weighs right now 45 pounds by itself, 50 pounds. I put a piece of quarter on the backside of both of them in two places. One across here where it attaches to the frame to give it some rigidity, and then two up here where the actual shock bolt will go through and be welded into it. So the reason why I did that is because obviously there's going to be a lot of force against the top of this plate, and then there'll be a lot of force down here where it's trying to stop this thing from building. But if you look at it, that's the reason why I went with vertical side risers. The reason being is that will stop it from trying to be bent backwards. So it'll be attached to the frame like this. Here's the frame. The shock will be in front here. And so these vertical risers will stop its ability to want to bend that way. So that's kind of the method to the madness. Just keep those things and ideas in your head when you're designing things, because obviously would this been strong enough with just a flat plate and the bottom piece and the top piece? Probably not. Boxing it in like this, it'll never move. I originally was going to do a dual shock setup, excuse me, but after I kind of looked at it, I feel that in my honest opinion, I think that would have made it a little overcompensating for the issue I was having. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run one single shock, and I think that that'll do everything I need it to do for compensating for the lack of dampening control and compression control in the suspension with the Tembrens. So anyway, I'm going to continue. Now I'm going to make the long runs all the way down. Whew. So you can see, I didn't do it all in pieces. You can see that it's stitched. So the reason why you want to do that is because basically you want to prevent warping. And so on this piece, it's kind of drawn out, but what I did is I generally did the piece in about 4-inch increments all the way up the sides and across and down. And that way you don't get no warping, you get even heating, and it just turns out to be better, and you're happier with the piece when you're done, and it fits properly, and you don't get in and you're like, oh gosh, I'm gonna need a spacer over here or wash over here because it's uneven. And that's generally from welding too fast and too much at a time. All right guys, fast forward and catch up, and I've got it ready. Check this out. It is insane. Look at this. So now you can see what I did. I created this shock tower to house this 2.0 Fox shock so that it'll assist the Timbren. This is the Timbren, we'll call it control arm. And what it's doing is it's attached here through this 1/2-inch plate. And what it does is it helps dampen the ride on this Timbren, which is just about everything that everybody complains. I originally set it up with two Fox shocks, but it was a little rigid, and I believe this is the sweet spot in between. So let me finish buttoning it up, put it together, and I'll show you what it looks like with the tire on it. Here we go. Okay guys, there it is. So now you can kind of see how it works and the setup. And so I'm just super excited about this. This is something I've been thinking about for a while now, and I'm glad to be able to get it done conceptually and it worked like I wanted it to. I'll kind of show you how it works in between here. So as you can see, there's plenty of flex between the actual shock tower, the shock itself, and the fender, as you can see right there. So I can stick my hand in there. So any kind of deflection is going to be backwards versus this way. So it couldn't have turned out any better. I was absolutely super lucky that it did. And so I kind of wanted to just show you guys how it worked and how excited I am. I really am, guys. I think by the smile on my face, you guys can see I'm pretty happy. Anyway, thanks for watching. Next week is Thanksgiving, so I hope all of you get your family together for some wonderful family time, friends, family, whatever. And then at the end of the week, I'm heading to the mountains, and I'm going to do a solo trip. I'm going to do a couple high mountain lakes up in New Mexico. But anyway, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Please comment below if you have any questions. Please like and share this video. It helps me immensely. We want to take it farther and keep showing you guys ideas and how to do things yourselves versus paying the big machine. With that said, again, share this, like it, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want more information about me or what I do, you can see my link tree or my Instagram, Maximum Overland. But that's all I got, guys. Again, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching.